Welcome to Pario magazine, where I chat with individuals who have a desire to create. Today I am joined by a Melbourne-based theatre writer and performer whose new show, Phantasmagoria, is set to open in St Kilda in March. Welcome to Pario magazine, Bernadette Trench-Thiedeman.
Thanks, Jamie.
How's the setup and everything going for the show so far?
Yeah, it's good. It's a pretty complex show, so yeah, we've got quite an amazing team, luckily. But yeah, it's almost there. It's getting there.
Awesome. So we're here today, obviously, to chat about the overall creative journey and the new theatre show. Before we dive into that story, though, are you able to give our audience a quick intro into who you are outside of the theatre?
Yeah, sure. So Phantasmagoria is a show about a woman who is trying to find out who her father was. He died when she was very young. So it's about her search to know more about him and understand more about him, mainly because she misses him. Along the way, while she's searching for stories about him from family and friends, she discovers some quite difficult truths about him. One of them being that he tried to kill her mother when she was a young child, which is why she and her mother had escaped and disappeared from her father. So it's really about a lot about the relationship between this woman and her dead father. And the show it's about how you reconcile with somebody who's very close to you, even though they're not alive anymore. So it's about spirits and ghosts in a lot of ways. It has a lot of different elements. So it has there's puppetry and there's projection and animation. And the show actually started as a series of paintings that I did over the years, and that was going to be a graphic novel, and then it eventually turned into the script for Phantasmagoria. And it's a horror and it's a comedy and it's also a kitchen sink drama, and it moves back and forth in time. So it's kind of experimental and non-linear in a lot of ways. But yeah.
Sounds like it's very complex. What were the sort of inspirations behind the show, and like how difficult was it to touch on a lot of those topics?
Yeah, there's definitely some heavy themes in there. I guess I guess in terms of writing the show, a lot of it was inspired by films such as Pan's Labyrinth by Guillermo del Toro, by Studio Ghibli, particularly Princess Mononoke. Really, in terms of dealing with those sort of themes and stories, and particularly stories about ghosts, I was really interested in using magic realism as a kind of vehicle to move in and out of the real world and into the spirit world. But I guess it's a fictionalized story. It's not an autobiography. It draws on a lot of different material, and of course, like I think any writer draws on their own personal experiences as well, even if they're writing fiction. But yeah, it's been a long process, and it's been in process for about 6 years. The show itself, Phantasmagoria, was postponed twice already now because of COVID. So this is the third time we're trying to get the show on.
Okay.
So it's, yeah.
How exciting is it to now, after all of these years of working on this show and the delays, finally getting it up and running?
It's quite exciting. It's also nerve-wracking because there's always that outside possibility that things, it might get postponed again. But it's also kind of surreal because we've just been building up to it for so long. So sometimes it's just hard to believe that it's actually happening. But it's just like, even if we did get cancelled, it's just like you have to have that thought in the back of your head that we could, still get cancelled because of COVID. And so you just have to enjoy the process, being in the rehearsal room with performers again, and
Yep.
And being in the world of the play is just, it's so wonderful. The process of making is such a you know, I love the process of making, and I think everyone's really enjoying the process.
Okay.
Yeah, so
And who would you say Phantasmagoria is targeted towards? Is it for everybody to come and enjoy?
yeah, I definitely think so. I think most people in their lives have lost someone, lost someone close to them. Um, and I think, unfortunately, particularly themes like family violence and intergenerational trauma are a fairly common experience. You don't have to dig too deep to, you know, for somebody to find a story in their family history or amongst their friends. So I feel like a lot of people can relate to it. It's definitely for people who like to see theatre um, that uses stage magic and works in the realm of like the imagination. It's definitely like, although it has these heavy themes, it's also quite a fun show. And it's, you know, has entertainment in it. There's singing and dancing and all sorts of things. So yeah, I guess it's for people that are ready to go on quite a bit of uh, an emotional journey, like all over the emotional landscapes, I guess. Yeah,
Yep. So you might come and laugh at one moment and then be in tears the next moment.
maybe, maybe, yeah.
If this show is successful in St Kilda, are you hoping to take it to even bigger stages around Melbourne and Australia?
Yeah, I would definitely love to tour it to different places. And you know, initially, like the dream is to take it overseas as well, because it is really a show. The story spans 3 different continents. Um, so yeah, you know, it's there's parts of it that are in Sri Lanka, there's parts of it that are in Europe, and there's parts of it that are in this country that we call Australia. Um, yeah, so definitely would love to tour it, and definitely I like also love taking things out to regional areas, because I sort of have a strange kind of half life of like living in the city and then also living in remote and regional places, and well, working in remote and regional places as well. So yeah.
Okay. So then for you personally, how did you sort of discover this passion for theatre?
I guess like it started when I was quite young, really. I guess like the really defining moment for me was when I was 6 years old, and my mum made this amazing costume for me of this beautiful pink galah, and she spent ages making it. And then it was for this like school play, and we were an hour late to the play, so I missed it. And I got there and I was just devastated. It was like the most devastating thing that ever happened to me. And I feel like I've been trying to make up for it ever since. Yeah, but oh yeah, there's, I guess theater has so many different sort of languages in it. It has text, it has dance, it has song, it has, you know, puppets, it has all of these different elements. And I guess like I also am a visual artist, and so I guess for me it's all about story. Well, it's not always about story, but this particular show and other mediums that I work in, because I'm an animator as well, I work in film too. So yeah, it's yeah, since I was a kid, basically the short answer.
Yep. So it sounds like with this show, you sort of are exploring all of your creative endeavors and interests. Unlike a lot of people, you didn't, when you found that passion for theatre, you didn't just purely stick to the acting. You decided to go into
No.
writing, puppetry, animation as well, obviously. What sort of
Mm.
influenced that decision?
I guess because actually the show started as really as like collecting stories and then paintings. So I paint as well. So um, I guess for me, it's like when there's a story or an idea or a concept, I sort of think about like where, like medium that, what medium lends itself well to that story or concept. So maybe it could be a sculpture, maybe it could be a graphic novel, maybe it could be a film, or maybe it could be a theatre show. Yeah, so I guess that's how I sort of start creatively. Is the idea comes first, and then it's sort of like, how's the best way to communicate this to people or share it with people?
How do you go through that process of deciding which medium is the best? Do you sort of try out little different bits and pieces?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Definitely. So like some of the costumes and puppets in this show I sort of made a long time ago, actually. I made some of them in Iceland. because I was testing out different parts of it. It's sort of been in creative development for a long time. So there's shadow puppetry, there's bits of shadow puppetry that I made a long time ago that have made it into the final show, or into this show. Yeah, and then obviously lots of things get discarded along the way as well. There's lots of puppets and text that never made it into this final piece. Yeah, so it's definitely experimental in terms of like finding what works.
And with this show incorporating so many elements of your artistic powers, do you think this is the most satisfying performance that you've put together?
Well, we haven't finished yet. And I love working on other people's shows and just being a performer or just making puppets or whatever as well. So, but yeah, it feels pretty good. Yeah, I do love it, and it's just like it's not just me. It's like amazing lighting designers, amazing sound designers, amazing performers, amazing director. You know, like it's just so many different people's. It's so collaborative. Like it's seriously just not just about me at all.
Yep. Yeah, it's a full team effort.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, it's a bit of a monster of a show. So yeah.
And then looking ahead after Phantasmagoria at the Theatre Works, what else is on the horizon for 2022?
Well, next up, I'm going to be traveling to Broome in northwestern WA to remount a giant spectacle theatre puppetry show that's set on a beach in an intertidal area with giant illuminated, multi-operated shorebird puppets. It's a musical romantic comedy with giant puppets, and it's yeah, it's in a public space, which I love. So it's for anyone who like just happens to be walking along the beach. Last time we did it, we had about 4,000 people, so it's pretty popular.
Yeah, that one sounds like it's certainly very eye-catching.
Yeah, it's kind of a different kind of type of theatre show to this one. And then I'm working down in Esperance in Western Australia with Noongar community on a series of animations about their connection to the sea country there. Sorry, Esperance, also known as Kepakuro, is the actual like Noongar name for it. Yeah, so a few different things. Hopefully a holiday, actually. Yeah.
Would be nice after all of this work, by the sounds of it.
Yes, I'm a bit burnt out. Yeah.
And then finally, where's the best place for people to support yourself, support this show, and track that creative journey moving forward?
Well, I guess like we've got, you know, there's like the Theatre Works website that has like Phantasmagoria on it where you can buy tickets. And then there's like a Facebook sort of page event for it. And there's also, I just post things up on Instagram through my personal account. And I have a website where I sort of throw a few of my projects on there. So yeah, I'm on social media. You can stalk me if you feel necessary. Yeah.
What is the Instagram handle and your personal website so we can put those in the links?
Yeah, sure. So my Instagram handle is Bernadette and then another double T at, oh, what is it? No, hang on. It's Bernadette double T 77, I think. Yes. And then my website is Bernadette, or www.bernadette, another double T at, oh no, sorry, .com.
Yep.
I really need my coffee.
Not a problem. We'll make sure all those links are there so people can find the show and check it out. And awesome. I wish you all the best with the show and good luck with everything. And hopefully we'll get this show around the country in all the different places.
Thanks, Jamie. Lovely to talk to you.